Alright, so today we are going to be looking at the Ella Prime Battle Gohan's EZA. He is actually a very useful character for me personally. I think he goes underrated for his usability. He may not have the best stats in the world, but things that he can do actually work really well for the upcoming 9th anniversary content or the existing 9th anniversary content if you're on JP. So we'll run down through him and I'll show you some examples of what events that he really helps me in. So this is his ability, Exploding Rage category for 4 key 150%. Not a great category to lead, but it's a 150% leader skill. So if that category ever gets a major update, he's got the option to do so. Greatly lowers attack on his 12 key, which is really nice. It says here though, it's a minus 30% on the attack and not a 50%, which is quite interesting. And then we got raise attack defense for the ultra super attack and massively lowering the defense. Like Vegeta, it's a minus 80% defense, the legendary Vegeta event, which I think is one of the most important things because in the 9th anniversary, they've added such high defensive bosses that can be low defense, that this minus 80% defense makes it so you can actually do a lot of damage. This really only works for like free-to-play units because they are usually on the weaker side and they don't have like characters that built in critical at a high rate. So lowering defense here is actually super important. He has attack defense 59% 4 key when you have a Goku on the team, an additional 4 key and a 59% attack defense if Goku's on the turn. Attack defense 58% when performing a super attack. Attack defense 58% and high chance of performing critical hit if it is a super attack. High chance of critical hit if it is an ultra super attack. I don't know why it says attack here. I think there's some text missing. Performs a critical hit if HP is 58% or less when performing an ultra super attack. 12 key attack defense 58% reduces damage received by 58% when HP is 58% or less. It is only once only, which kind of does suck. It was okay for those shorter events because you only maybe saw him one time, but now there's so long events that you definitely need more than once only these days. And here's these links and categories. I tend to only use him in Saiyan Saga and Warriors Raised on Earth. So let's get into some examples where I used him that he was really helpful on. So the first example is from the Ultimate Excite Battle. The bosses in here, stage 1 and 2, have 10 million defense, which is quite a lot. If you are not running a unit that has over 10 million defense. And also, you got to consider the fact with the damage reduction. So Gohan here was really useful for that greatly lowering defense, allowing the Goku here to do some damage with his measly 3 billion attack stat. I used it to complete 2 missions for both of them, which was the Saiyan Saga, as well as the Rainbow Super Team. And because the event wasn't hitting too hard, we were able to keep him alive quite nicely, which was all good. And then in this situation, I ended up getting the 12 key, not on purpose, but it shows that it can be used. You can use it for the lowering attack, so he won't do any damage. Optimally, I would have went for the greatly lowering defense here, but key-wise can be an issue if you don't have, I guess, the right links set up as well, if no Goku is on the rotation, which is definitely one of his harder restrictions to get. Since the 9th anniversary did not release any new Goku, which is crazy to think about. So still one of the best ones to use is the Earthbred Fighter Tech World Tournament Goku. The next event I used them in was the brand new Ultimate Speed Battle on JP, where the boss was Golden Frieza. This Golden Frieza gets weaker every single time that he changes phases. He doesn't have as high of a defense as the other bosses, but yes, 500,000 in his AGL phase, which is still not really that much, all things considered. But I needed him for the Rainbow mission since he really is one of the better free-to-play STR units. And lowering that defense can be very helpful just so that we can do that extra bit of damage. And then if he gets to 12 key, he can lower the attack. So that's why I brought him. And the high damage output as well, since there is a physical phase. If he drops underneath the 58% HP, he can do a significant amount of damage if need be. Obviously, using him, you're probably not going to be any speed record, but just to complete the Rainbow mission, I ended up using him on my free-to-play team. And probably the most impressive feat that I used him in was the Hirudegon Red Zone, which is notably has a very high amount of defense and a very strong boss to hit you with a super attack. Of course, the super attack is pretty much scripted, but it is still pretty impressive that I did end up using him. Of course, same reason, greatly lowering defense allowed my other free-to-play units to do a lot more damage, but I did have to keep him floating because he was very dangerous to keep alive here, but still got the job done with him, which is really, really insane. That is, an option if we can't beat it in this phase right here, but I'm pretty sure I do get the dub here, which is the most important thing. We got the critical, and then this normal here did like 15,000. I was like, okay. And then Gohan, luckily, he actually has some crit chance as well, so, and then he's lowering defense. Actually a very good unit. If you don't have to deal with AoEs, actually very helpful for this event. So I like what they did here. They actually made a very useless debuff actually very useful. It wouldn't be too bad if they did more of this. So to finalize the Ella Gohan, I do think he is a very useful character, especially since the fact that they have made lowering defense super, super nice. Here is a rotation where he had his highest attack stat that I've ever had with him, 15 million attack. Yeah, I believe had the lowered HP restriction to get to that attack stat at B-Pan's active skill as well as the Int Goku's support. And against type advantage, we hit some significant damage here. I do, however, recommend you go with the full dodge. Again, AoEs are still rampant in this day and age, so he really can't tank anything before he attacks, which is quite unfortunate. His defense does not get high enough as well to tank super attacks. Normal attacks, it just depends on the boss. If it's physical, I think he should just be fine. But outside of that, it can be very, very scary depending on the boss. Unless, of course, you have that damage reduction. But overall, I would say not the worst Prime Battle EZ8 we have ever seen on Dokkan. Thank you for watching today's video. If you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want early access to these YouTube videos as soon as I drop them and not having to wait, you can click the first link in my description to become a member or click on the join button. You can get videos as soon as I upload them, as well as getting some other cool perks on this YouTube channel. But with that said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Until the next one, peace.